Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Simple English Hub, where you learn English in simple, practical, and powerful ways. Today's lesson is a little different because I'm not just teaching you, I'm sharing a story with you. And not just any story, but a story that many of you will connect with deeply. This is my journey, my struggle, and how I finally became confident speaking English in just 6 months. And as you listen, I want you to imagine yourself in my place, because everything I did, you can do too. Let me take you back to the beginning. When I first started learning English, I knew basic words. I could understand a little, but speaking? That was my biggest fear. Every time I wanted to say something, my mind became blank. I translated every sentence from my native language into English, and it was slow and stressful. Sometimes I knew the words, but I couldn't form the sentence. And when I tried to speak, I was afraid of making mistakes. I thought people would laugh at me. So what did I do? I stayed silent. And that silence became my biggest problem. One day, I realized something important. I was not improving, not because English was difficult, but because my method was wrong. I was studying grammar for hours, memorizing vocabulary lists, but I was not speaking. I was learning English, but I was not using English. That day, I made a decision. I would change my approach completely. I told myself, for the next 6 months, I will train my brain to speak, not just to understand. In the first month, I started with something very simple but powerful, thinking in English. At the beginning, it felt strange and difficult. My brain always wanted to go back to my native language. But I forced myself to think in English using very simple sentences. When I woke up, I said in my mind, I am waking up. When I ate, I said, I am eating. When I walked outside, I said, I am going outside. These sentences were small, but they changed everything. Slowly, my brain started to connect my daily life with English. But I also made mistakes. Sometimes I forgot to think in English. Sometimes I felt lazy. And sometimes I felt like I was not improving, but I did not stop. That is very important. Consistency is more powerful than motivation. Even when I did not feel like practicing, I continued. In the second month, I added another powerful method, shadowing. Every day, I listened to simple English videos and repeated what I heard. At first, I could not follow everything. The speaker was too fast. I missed words. I felt frustrated. But instead of stopping, I slowed it down. I repeated one sentence again and again until it felt natural. For example, I would hear, "I wake up early every morning," and I would repeat it 5 times, 10 times, until my mouth felt comfortable. This practice improved my pronunciation and helped me speak more naturally. Now, let me tell you something important. During this time, I still made many mistakes. My sentences were not perfect. My grammar was not always correct. But something started to change. I was speaking more. And that was my goal. Not perfection, but progress. In the 3rd and 4th months, I focused on speaking every day. And here is something many learners do not understand. You do not need a partner to speak. I spoke alone. Yes, alone. I talked about my day. I described what I saw. I asked myself questions and answered them. For example, what am I doing? I am studying. Why am I learning English? I want to improve my future. This daily practice trained my brain to respond faster. Slowly, I stopped translating. Words started coming directly in English. But I also faced fear. Sometimes I spoke with other people and I felt nervous. I made mistakes. Sometimes people did not understand me. But instead of stopping, I learned from those moments. I realized something powerful. Mistakes are not failure. They are feedback. Every mistake showed me what to improve. In the 5th month, something amazing happened. I noticed that I could understand more and I could respond faster. I was not perfect, but I was comfortable. Conversations became easier. I did not need to translate every sentence. My brain started thinking in English naturally. This is the moment many learners wait for, the moment when English starts to feel real. In the 6th month, I focused on confidence. I continued my daily routine, listening, shadowing, speaking, thinking, but now I added one more thing. I believed in myself. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you build. The more I spoke, the more confident I became. And one day I realized I was speaking English without fear. Now, my students, let me be honest with you. Becoming fluent in 6 months does not mean becoming perfect. I still made mistakes. I still learned new words, but I could speak. I could communicate. I could express my ideas. And that is what fluency really means. Now, let me share the biggest mistakes I made so you can avoid them. First, I focused too much on grammar at the beginning. Second, I was afraid of making mistakes. Third, I did not speak enough. And fourth, I was not consistent. When I fixed these mistakes, my progress became faster. Now, I want you to imagine something. Imagine yourself 6 months from now. You are speaking English confidently. You are not afraid. You understand and respond naturally. This is possible, but only if you start today. Let's do a quick practice together. I will ask you questions and you answer. Teacher, why do you want to learn English? Student, I want to improve my future. Teacher, what will you do today? Student, I will practice speaking. Teacher, are you afraid of mistakes? Student, no, I will learn from my mistakes. This is your new mindset. Now, my final message to you, my students. You do not need special talent. You do not need perfect grammar. You need practice, patience, and courage. Speak every day. Think in English. Repeat what you hear, and never be afraid of mistakes. Your journey starts now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Thank you for learning with me today on the Simple English Hub. Keep practicing, keep believing, and I will see you in the next lesson.